the key to win a championship is to win the races right now.
You run every race to win, and if you win every race, points are going to come with it.
And that's the mentality me and my team are coming to the track with.
Well, I'm out there to win. I'm hungry.
It's a $250,000 championship showdown, and it's next. The United States Auto Club, your fast lane to stardom, is here at the 1.5-mile Kansas Speedway, just outside Kansas City, Kansas, with their USAC Silver Crown Series, presented by K&N Engineering. Ready to compete in the KansasSpeedway.com 100. It's the final race in the chase for the 2006 Silver Crown Championship. Hi, everyone. Along with my partner, Rob Klepper, I'm Jack Arute. And, Rob, the last time we were together, we were waiting the final dirt track race at ELDORA Speedway in Rossburg, Ohio. Since then, it has been run.
Yeah, it was run. It got done about 5:30 in the morning, and it was a great race. Here's some of the highlights. The 25th annual Mopar Thunder at the ELDORA Speedway got set for the USAC Silver Crown Series with Matt Neely and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. on the front row. Jerry Coons Jr. in the 199. Carl Edwards entry would move into second spot early in this event. Brian Tyler and Bud Kading would battle, but Stenhouse got sideways in turn one, collecting the 114 of Davey Ray, the 29 of Bud Kading. Dickie Gaines in car 59, almost upside down. And Brian Tyler, point contender, also involved in that accident. Davey Ray climbs out of the Fat Fro Motorsports car to check out the 29 of Bud Kading. As they would push Bud Kading into the pits, and the Team ASC crew would go to work. The BK Leffler Motorsports team got Bud Kading back out to the racetrack. Brian Tyler, though, unable to make it out. He was done for the night. Matt Neely, though, in the RW Motorsports, number 17, right up on the cushion where he likes to run here at the high banks, on cruise control. But Bud Kading would put on a charge, racing up to the front of the pack. Underneath the 26, Sam Pierce Chevrolet entry of Aaron Pierce. And Matt Neely, underneath Bud Kading, could put him one lap down. Neely would lap up to 5th spot en route to his first career USAC Silver Crown event feature win in convincing fashion. Matt Neely in the RW Motorsports number 17 would pick up the win and a $25,000 bonus.
I'm like amazed, you know. I mean, $25,000 to me is a lot of money. You know, I can't thank Scott Bennick and the guys enough, Steve Wyrick and the whole RW crew. You know, I mean, they just do a great job and really give me a great opportunity.
So the championship chase comes down to this at Kansas Speedway. Bud Kading, after finishing 7th, holds a 24-point lead after Brian Tyler had trouble at ELDORA Speedway, finishing in 23rd spot.
So the misfortune by our 2 points chasers, Bud Kading and Brian Tyler, in that race has set up a different scenario for this grand finale here at Kansas.
Yeah, it comes down to one race. These guys have to finish and finish well. Bud Kading has a pretty decent point lead over Brian Tyler, but it's been a seesaw battle all year. Anything can happen. 100 miles at Kansas. It's going to be a good show.
Now the third and final member of our broadcast team is trackside. Let's check in with Brienne Pedigo.
Well, guys, the guy who's going to take these cars out into the field first is Aaron Pierce with the fast qualifying time. Aaron, congratulations. You've had an amazing season this year. What have been some of the highlights for you?
First of all, I'd say winning Chicago and just qualified good about everywhere. We've had the fastest car almost everywhere we go, so it's just been a good year.
Now, you and I spoke earlier about the difference in the rubber between the Busch cars that have been on there with the Goodyear rubber tires. We've got Hoosier tires. It's going to be a little bit slippery during the start of the race. Tell me a little more about that.
When we practiced yesterday, we ran on their rubber, and it made the cars a little bit loose. And there's a lot more on the track now, so who knows how long it's going to take to get our own rubber down, but that's going to be a big deal. So the cars will be sliding around a lot in the beginning. They're full of fuel.
So you just got to kind of ride it out and let the track come to you.
Well, good luck today.
Thanks.
Now, guys, the tire situation, the rubber, the slippery track, that's a story we're going to keep our eye on. But the biggest deal here today is Bud Kading and Brian Tyler. It's a chase race tomorrow, but tonight, somebody, Bud Kading or Brian Tyler, is going to chase down the championship for the USAC National Silver Crown Series. We're going to really be eyeing those two cars as they battle it out, see who brings home the victory. There's a big check waiting for them, $250,000 for whoever wins that championship. It's all happening here on USAC Thunder.
Today's event here at the Kansas Speedway is being brought to you by Optima Batteries, the ultimate power source. So one of our in-car cameras will be with the title contender, Brian Tyler, in the Team 6R Sun Times Designs machine. He'll be starting towards the back of the pack, while the current point leader, Rob, in the O'Reilly onboard is Bud Kading in the BK Leffler Special.
Yeah, Bud Kading a little bit better starting spot than Brian Tyler is. Again, Bud Kading has to finish good. Take a look at the starting grid with Aaron Pierce picking up the IndyCar Series Fast Qualifier Award. He will start on the pole outside row number 1. Another good qualifying for the Chilean Pablo Donoso.
And Kading and Steele will fill row 2, while back in row number 4, Wayne Rudeman Jr., already a winner here on the USAC Silver Crown Series Trail, and Rodney Wiesner will bring the field down.
Optima Batteries fast lines. Bud Kading, well, Jack, he has to finish 6th or better to guarantee the championship. Brian Tyler has to win, has to lead the most laps. The rest of the field, hey, they don't care. They're just here to win at Kansas.
A late change in the starting lineup because of an engine problem. Jay Drake has dropped to the back of the pack due to the rules here in the USAC Silver Crown Series. But the green flag is out here at the Kansas Speedway. And on the brake, look at Pablo Donoso just burying the pedal in the Cristal Special and taking the lead.
Wayne Rudeman Jr. in that white 00 started 6th after Jay Drake moved to the rear of the field and using that high line, trying to take the lead off turn 2, and he does it.
The Case Contracting 00, though, has to contend with the Cristal number 191 as the battle for Jay Drake, starting last, has already moved up to 8th position, passing Brian Tyler, one of our title contenders.
Riding on board with Brian Tyler off turn number 4.
What happened there?
Inboard camera, a little trouble there.
Brian Tyler currently in the 9th position, trying to chase down Bud Kading. Remember, he has to not only keep Kading in sight, he's got to pass Kading and win this race and lead the most laps. Wayne Rudeman Jr. and Pablo Donoso making it 3 wide down the backstretch for the lead. Who comes out on front? Well, it's Aaron Pierce. But Donoso, remember, 1 week ago, finished 2nd and said he gained enough money to be able to come to Kansas, and they are showing their muscle early on in this race. Likewise for the 00 of Wayne Rudeman Jr. No surprise for Aaron Pierce. He's been strong in the second half of this season. Let's go back and see if we can find out what wipes out our in-car camera with Brian Tyler. Something hit the camera and knocked it right off the car.
Well, that's that for the onboard camera, Brian Tyler. This one, though, does work the O'Reilly on board for Bud Kading, as, again, talked to Kading early in the pits. He says, hey, we're here to win the race, but you can tell, Jack, he was still a little nervous about trying to run. They've had some ignition problems again. They switched ignitions on that car as the two title contenders battles Brian Tyler right to the outside.
So, Tyler, job 1 accomplished. Get in front of Bud Kading. Now, job 2 will be go to the front, lead the most laps, and currently in the 6th position where he needs to be is Kading. If Tyler wins, Kading stays here in 6th. Well, Kading is the 2006 USAC National Silver Crown champion. On board with Bud Kading. And is it my ears, or does the engine sound just a tad off right now?
They have been battling ignition problems all weekend long. They switched ignitions. I had some guys come over, help them out from RCR, put the dual ignition on there, so if one wasn't working, they could flip the switch and work the other one. As Aaron Pierce cruises on out in front, Wayne Rudeman 2nd there, Donoso running in 3rd. But Bud Kading said, you know, I want to win the race. I got to keep Tyler in my sights. It's almost like, you know, with a lot of money on the line, you have to do a little points racing and just finish in the top 6. That's really his goal here today.
For Aaron Pierce, however, it's an opportunity to score his 2nd victory of this inaugural USAC Silver Crown Super Speedway Series season. For Bud Kading right now, the BK Leffler Lone City Team ASE entry. Just wants to keep that car in front of him, the 21, in his gun sights. If he does that, then Kading will win this championship.
Well, for Aaron Pierce, this track here at Kansas, very similar to Chicagoland. Of course, Aaron Pierce was fast time in Chicago, also won that race. He was fast time here at Kansas, and he's currently leading this event. Bud Kading, Brian Tyler, and look at that, the Jim Paternoster National Parts Peddler sponsor, number 41 of Jay Drake, who, Jack, as we said earlier, had to start from the rear, working his way to the front inside of Bud Kading off turn number 2.
Now, Jay Drake could become the joker in this deck of cards for the championship chase. I say that because as he splits the difference between the two title contenders, he's trying to carve his way to the front. Kading is only concerned with the yellow car that you saw on board to the outside. That's his nemesis and the guy that he needs to keep in his sights, the 21 of Brian Tyler. So after 5 laps, it is Aaron Pierce followed by Wayne Rudeman, and what a great run by Pablo Donoso. Donoso taking over that ride when Ron Hemmelgarn decided to come racing here, and look at the tight quarters racing that we're engaged in right now. Bud Kading goes to the outside of Dave Steele, teammate to Brian Tyler's Team 6R entry. And he just wants to keep that 21 in his sights. He's not going to let Brian Tyler get away from him.
Well, that's a good battle right there. How about Jay Drake in the 41 car working his way to the front? He was fastest in practice. He's been fast all week, and we knew he'd be able to race his way up to the front. And actually, Jack, from an announcing standpoint, probably pretty neat to see Jay Drake have to go to the rear. Unfortunately for him, he's got to pass a few more cars. It looks like the B&W Farms number 8 car, Bryn Gaughan, works his way into the pit area.
Rookie in the USAC Silver Crown Series goes to the attention of his team, and they are checking for some sort of an oil leak. As the USAC officials requested his presence, you can see the smoke. Now, all of these cars have what they call a diaper underneath the engine to kind of pick up any of the stray fluids that might smoke out. But definitely, there is more smoke coming out of Bryn Gaughan's car than USAC officials would like to see. Meanwhile, back out on the racetrack, a little bit of a bobble by that yellow 191, and there's the smoke of Bryn Gaughan as he is pulled out on the racetrack. I'm sure he'll be called back in very shortly as the smoking continues there. He has already gone 1 lap down.
Well, Iowa Speedway, we saw Pablo Donoso run his car very loose. Looks like he likes to run it loose here at Kansas Speedway. I don't know if it's very comfortable on the 1.5-mile super speedway. But nonetheless, talked to Pablo as well as Tiago Medeiros in the pits earlier today, Jack, and asked him if they'd be racing the dirt next year in the Silver Crown Series, and they both said they might like to, as Bud Kading very close to the 41 of Jay Drake.
In USAC Silver Crown competition, you run inches apart. You are able to do it because of the side pods that are on these new style cars. Rodney Wiesner pulls onto pit road. Tough break for him. Bud Kading, as we said, needs to finish 6th or better, regardless of what Tyler does. Right now, he is in 4th. And Dave Steele, winner at Iowa Speedway, winner at Phoenix, will not win Kansas. Meanwhile, Rodney Wiesner is on pit road. Problems there. Let's check in with Brianne Pedigo for an update.
We're looking at Bryn Gaughan and Rodney Wiesner's cars, both of which they came in because they were smoking, they were oiling. An official told me that on Bryn Gaughan's number 8 car was actually a valve cover that caused this problem, ending his race.
So back out on the racetrack, Aaron Pierce, 3rd in the Silver Crown standings, really mathematically no shot to win the championship, but as we said, would like to double up and win his 2nd race. But Kading, on the other hand, has a $250,000 check within his sights. That is if he can get by Pablo Donoso.
Well, we said he might want to take it a little easy, though he does want to win this race, and it doesn't look like he's taking it too easy as he tried to shoot underneath Pablo Donoso there. He has Jay Drake right behind him, but going back to Aaron Pierce, Jack, he wants to win this final event of the season.
So as we wind down the laps here at the Kansas Speedway, 13 are in the books, 67 scheduled. It's Pierce, Rudeman, Tyler, and Donoso here at Kansas Speedway.
And what would it mean to you to win the USAC Silver Crown Series Championship this year?
You know, it'd mean a lot. I've been so close 2 or 3 times now. I finished 2nd in the points, and you know, kind of the way this year's going right now, it looks like that. You know, mathematically we're in the deal, but really we're not. I mean, with 12 cars here, it's awful hard to make up them points I need right now.
But you can be sure that Brian Tyler is doing his best. Let's go pit side, Brianne.
Well, Brian Tyler's battling it out there. How's he feeling? How's the car looking? Are you guys happy?
Right now, everything's working real good. We're moving up through the field, doing the best we can. That's all we can ask.
Now, yesterday, I know you guys were a little upset with the car, and you changed pretty much everything but the driver. Everything's back to where it should be?
Yeah, we went back to our setup from Joliet. We tried some stuff, didn't work out very well, and went back to the old setup.
Good luck today.
All right.
Well, in the case of Brian Tyler, that's what you have to do, Jack. You have to throw the setup at it. You have to make your driver comfortable because Brian Tyler needs to race to the front.
For Bud Kading and Brian Tyler, this has been a chase that quickens one's pulse.
If you could sum up what this season has been like so far in the new generation Silver Crown car, what would you have to say about it?
You know, I think it's been really good for the first year. New cars, Phoenix, things were a little bit rough.
You're on board. Brian Tyler looks to the inside of Bud Kading and then thinks better of it.
And it seems like every race we run, they get more competitive.
Bud Kading now finds someone to dance with.
Brian Tyler gets by. Could be trouble for Bud Kading.
All kinds of stuff's happening.
Down the backstretch and into turn number 3 they go. And they touch.
Pierce hit Tyler. Tyler spins. Pierce goes around the outside. Oh, my gosh.
Side by side. They touch. Josh Wise spins. Hits the safer barrier. Yellow is out.
You know, you got 3 or 4 guys battling for the lead.
A 3-car tango is getting heated out front. The battle is for the lead. On the inside goes the black number 29. He takes the lead away from Brian Tyler. Down on the inside comes the white number 41. He takes over the lead. Jay Drake tries it, but the swamp over move. Drake goes way high out of turn number 2, and Bud Kading takes the lead back.
It's been real good. It's definitely had its ups and downs. Especially early in the year, we got real spoiled with success with having a fast car.
Side by side in turn 1, heading to turn number 2. They are awfully close down the backstretch. It looks like Kading got the run this time, Rob. Bud Kading, who becomes our 4th different winner. And we're going to get a Nextel Cup NASCAR-style donut.
Well, that's the first time I've ever seen a Silver Crown car do donuts.
Will Bud Kading become the first 2-time winner? Yes! Kading wins.
I couldn't ask to be in a better position with our Silver Crown program.
This man is on top of the world.
Bud Kading accomplished 2 things. Picked up the win here tonight. He'll take the point lead.
The key to win a championship is to win the races right now, and that's what the mentality me and my team are coming to the track with.
Well, you run every race to win.
It will be Brian Tyler victorious. The Kroger car.
And if you win every race, points are going to come with it. Other than that, the big thing is just finish in front of Bud.
A well-deserved victory after starting 7th. And look at Brian Tyler. He's not going to let Kading get away.
I think it's been a pretty exciting year so far.
You know, that's all why we build all these cars and put on all these hard hours to race all year long is to attack the championship. And right now it looks like it's coming down to just Brian and I.
So, you know, I'm out there to win.
Hopefully we come out on top.
So with 21 of the 67 laps in the record book, Aaron Pierce is on top of Wayne Rudiman. Brian Tyler trying desperately to win this championship, but Aaron Pierce has had a lot to say about it, having led from the get-go today. Meanwhile, Bud Kading right where he needs to be, but Jay Drake, who got this ride at the Richmond International Raceway, and boy, Kading's got some smoke coming out of the car there.
Yeah, that's not a good sign as Bud Kading entered turn number 1. Saw a little bit of smoke out of the right side. Certainly not something you want to see still very early in this race. And for him, having Brian Tyler still out on the racetrack, certainly not a good deal.
We were talking about Jay Drake. What I was about to say there is the fact that Jay Drake got this ride from the Jim Paternoster stable, and he has really impressed his car owner. Paternoster didn't know Jay Drake until he made a blind call and asked him if he would drive the car. They finished second, and now they have been very fast in the second half of the season, although he is still winless in Silver Crown competition in 06.
Well, watching Jay Drake work his way to the front here at Kansas today has got to be very exciting for Paternoster to finish out the 2006 season. Maybe have Paternoster buy a dirt car next year and chase the championship with Jay Drake as his driver.
Jay Drake, with 4 USAC national titles under his belt, would like nothing better than to take that Iowa Sprint Car win that he experienced 1 week ago and parlay it into a victory in the Silver Crown Series here at the 1.5-mile Kansas Speedway. But so far today, it's been all about this guy in the Tide Pringles number 26, Aaron Pierce. On super speedways, drivers need to be alerted when the caution comes out, and that's the subject of our Optima Batteries Track Fact.
From up here in race control, you can see everything that's happening out on the track. And as soon as something happens that warrants a yellow, USAC official Greg Gerline activates what's called Race Safe. By pressing this button, it sends a radio signal to a receiver, which is then attached to a yellow light. Most of these drivers have them right above the steering wheel so they can see them clearly. This gives us now 3 different ways for a driver to know that there's a yellow on the track. They've got their spotter in their ear telling them, they've got Race Safe, and of course the traditional yellow flag. All of these things just to ensure that the drivers are safe going around this 1.5-mile oval.
It looks as if there's trouble on Brian Tyler's car. He's pulled below the white line. Rob, this is not good for our title contender.
Couldn't really tell what is wrong with that car. Obviously, probably something underneath the hood, as it looks like everything is okay on that car aesthetically. But yeah, that's a tough break for Brian Tyler as he pulls into the pit area.
Meanwhile, his nemesis and current point leader, Bud Kading, continues to tour at full song at over 168 miles an hour. But Brian Tyler, starting to see his title hopes come crumbling down as he pulls that Sun Times design Team 6R number 21 down onto pit road. The crew confers with Brian, and oh no, Brian Tyler is getting out, taking his final bow in this championship chase in 2006. What a tough break for this guy that won at Homestead Miami Speedway.
Well, seeing Brian Tyler climb out of that race car is certainly not a good sight, but it looks like all smiles, I guess, for the meantime here as Brian Tyler climbs out. His season is done.
The crew taking a look. You can see some whiffs of smoke there. Let's get an update from Brianne Pedigo. Bree?
Hi.
How you doing?
Well, we saw you take that bow as you got out of your car. You're still second in the points. That's got to feel pretty good.
We feel really good. You know, I think we had a car to win, but I think we blowed a head gasket and the temperature started going way up when I got into third. So I was laying back trying to let it get some air and cool down, but it just steadily got worse. So instead of blowing the motor up and taking a chance of crashing myself or messing up the race, we just decided to bring it in.
Give me a few of your highlights from this year's season.
Oh, you know, the whole season, just coming and running at these big tracks in front of these crowds and stuff, and just, you know, just everything we've done. We've won a few, we've lost a few. You know, it's been a good year, and we'll come back next year and try it again.
At the end of the day, it's good to see a smile still on your face.
Oh, yeah, I always smile. I mean, I've been doing this long enough. I know what it takes.
Indeed, he does. But still, a bit of a disappointment for Brian Tyler. A bit of celebration, though, for this man, Bud Kading. Now he is officially the 2006 USAC Silver Crown champion, Rob. And this has been a fun run as Tiago Medeiros gets by Bud Kading. Do you think maybe Kading now knows that the heat is off and doesn't have to race quite as hard? Or does he turn the wick up now and try to go for this man's lead in this KansasSpeedway.com 100?
Well, if I'm Bud Kading, probably on cruise control, probably savor the moment just a little bit on the racetrack.
So it is Pierce out front where he has been since the drop of the green flag. Will he be there when they drop the checkered? We'll find out. At ELDORA Speedway, well, it looks as if he's not going to get a pavement win to go with that victory on the dirt as he pulls down onto pit road.
Yeah, not a long time to savor that big win over at ELDORA Speedways. Matt Neely, a lot of smoke on the left side there. That is certainly not a good sign, and they've struggled a little bit on the pavement this year, but with Matt Neely I think secured to run that car next year, trying to get some laps and learn a little bit about these new Silver Crown cars here at Kansas.
This RW Motorsports team has found a gem in this youngster, and in fact, they are very high on his future, not only individually, but with them in 2007. But today, it ends prematurely, and for an update, let's go trackside and visit with our pit reporter as she visits with Matt. Brianne?
Well, Matt, your crew tells me that an oil cooler broke on your car. That's what ended your day here tonight. Tell me a little bit about the condition on the track as far as is it slippery out there?
You know, we must have picked up something. You know, we were loose all day. It was kind of just a tough day for us. You know, I can't thank the whole RW crew enough. They really gave me a great opportunity.
And you know what? That's what this series is supposed to be about. Opportunity. Not only opportunity for young drivers like Matt Neely, but opportunity for these drivers to showcase their wares in front of the IndyCar Series, in front of the NASCAR Series, and they have done well with this new Silver Crown Series in the Super Speedway configuration. For a guy like Pablo Donoso, it's the only reason that he's running these oval cars is because he wants to make it to the big time in American motorsports.
Well, he's proven his point here after he got teamed up with Helmut Garn. A great finish at Iowa Speedway, as we said, finished second. Look at that. 1, 2, 3 on the racetrack. Aaron Pierce out front, Donoso second, and Jay Drake started dead last, Jack, working his way up to the third spot. Now it looks like Donoso is going to put a run on for the lead.
Aaron Pierce gets that 3-point USAC bonus for leading the most laps, but they don't pay a bonus in cash for leading the most laps. They pay the bonus at the checkered flag for whoever finishes in first. Let's go trackside again for an update from Brianne.
Hope you're keeping your eye on the 41 car. Jay Drake started from the tail because he had to change his right rear tire, but he's already moved up to third position.
Yeah, Brianne, we've been following that great run by this man, Jay Drake. And as we said, he won the sprint car race at Iowa Speedway a couple of weeks ago, and that got the gorilla off his back in terms of being winless this season. But right now, he'd like to get win number 2 and his first in the Silver Crown. But it has been all Aaron Pierce. Was challenged early on, and you know what, Rob? Let's remember one thing. We've gone nonstop. There have been no cautions so far in this race.
Yeah, that's really amazing at this point. Our first race all year that we could go completely green flag with no yellows. But talking to Aaron Pierce, he said if this thing does go green, and we haven't talked about it much this year, there could be a fuel issue. These guys don't know, with these things topped off at 65 gallons, if it goes green, if they'll have enough fuel. So that's one thing we'll have to keep an eye on. But Donoso there in the 191, Chris Stahl, Helmut Garn Motorsports injury. Right behind Aaron Pierce. Don't really know if Aaron Pierce is on cruise control, if he's kind of just saving his tires, saving those radial tires. As you can see, a couple different lines there. We saw Wayne Rudem and Jack earlier in the race run the high line. These guys running down low, Aaron Pierce in the middle. So that's what's neat about Kansas Speedway.
But Pablo Donoso has a sniff of the lead held by Aaron Pierce. The question is, will Donoso be able to cash in on that sniff and make a pass?
What would it mean for Bud Kading to win the USAC Silver Crown Series championship this year?
Well, I've ran second in this championship before, and that meant a lot. So this would probably mean twice as much. It'd definitely be the peak of my career, the biggest goal that we've accomplished or that I've ever accomplished. And my guys have all worked real hard not to win this. I mean, they all deserve it. They've all definitely put in 110%. And not that Brian Tyler and his guys don't deserve to win this championship. My guys just, to me, have put in a lot of hard work, a lot of hours, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. You know, day in and day out, every night, the shop and at the racetrack, and you know, just made the best man win.
Bud Kading's crew has certainly been a treat to be around all season, led by this man, Matt Draskovic, and they want this as bad as Bud Kading wants it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, those guys are here to have fun, but they're also here to do a job. And Draskovic, a very serious crew chief, though, very fun to hang out with, but here at the racetrack, these guys are on a mission.
Thiago Medeiros, best finish on the last Super Speedway, that 7/8 of a mile, Rusty Wallace Super Speedway. He came home in 4th, and whoa, he was a little bit of a bobble there. And now more smoke from Bud Kading's car. Are we about to see a problem with Bud Kading's car already having clinched the championship? Let's go back and take a look and see if we can see where that smoke's coming from. Well, it's out of the headers. That doesn't bode well. Let's get an update. Check in trackside with Brianne. Bree?
Because they've been battling ignition problems this whole season, they had a that little incident yesterday and that weren't happy with the car, they've actually put in a whole new ignition and got backups for everything. There's 2 batteries, 2 ignitions, so even if one fails, they're still good to go. They're not taking any chances on finishing this race.
I believe, Rob, if they had more firewall area, they would have added a 3rd or a 4th backup. Pablo Donoso goes to the outside of Aaron Pierce. He sensed that Pierce is having some problems. This is the battle for the lead. But Pierce is able to carry a little more speed out of the corner. A little bit of a bobble there. These cars are on the knife's edge at 170 miles an hour. But Donoso dips to the inside again.
Pablo Donoso to the inside in front of the NASCAR crowd, going for the lead. A little loose on the inside. Pierce. Wow, that's some great side-by-side racing.
Almost got into the back end of Aaron Pierce, but Donoso was able to keep the momentum up. Now goes upstairs and across the stripe. He will not be scored as the leader, but he does take over the lead into turn number 2.
Well, Pablo Donoso putting on a show for the fans here at Kansas Speedway. Still very loose on these radial tires, Jack. You don't want to see these cars get too loose. It's still a great battle for the lead. Jay Drake hangs out in the 3rd spot in the 41. Here comes Pierce one more time on the outside.
If I'm Aaron Pierce, I'm a little careful going to the high side of the Chilean, as both of these cars are just wobbling and wiggling at 170 miles an hour. Donoso now has settled down a little bit. There's a 3-car length differentiation between 1st and 2nd. Well, that will take your breath away.
Well, that's some great racing. We've seen that all season long on the big super speedways, some side-by-side racing. When they put the radial tires on these cars back in Homestead, Miami, these cars really stick with the downforce that they have, the front nose, the side pods, the wicker bills in front of the rear tires. Keep those things locked down through the corners, and it makes for some great racing.
You usually don't see that kind of racing unless it's a couple of young kids playing with big wheels. You know how when you were a kid you used to do that? But when you're doing it with a real race car at 170 miles an hour, that'll take your breath away. In fact, your first toys as a kid is the subject of this week's Ask the Drivers.
I had a dirt bike, and I like that. We rode it all the time. Hot Wheels.
Had to be Legos, man. Legos. Buy Legos, put them on a big box, build stuff for hours and hours and hours. That's what my mom did when I started being a pain in the butt. She'd go to the store and get me a new Lego set, and I'd go in the other room and be quiet for a good 4 or 5 hours.
Oh, I'd say it'd have to have been a tractor. You know, little toy tractors you push around. Had to be that. Big around the dirt. Yeah, be my favorite.
I kind of like the erector set, the metal with the little nuts and bolts. I kind of like that. Pretty good. I guess depends. My bike was always fun too, so.
Tonka truck.
My favorite toy when I was growing up as a kid was definitely G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip.
I remember my mom has old videos of me as a little baby, and I would just hide underneath my crib and play around with my bottle like it was a race car. So I guess initially that was my favorite toy.
If Jay Leno ever needs a vacation, I'm nominating Jay Drake to fill in on The Tonight Show. Santiago, Chile's pride and joy, Pablo Donoso, trying to chase down Aaron Pierce and get his first victory of 2006 in his rookie campaign. But Pierce, looking for his second of the season, holds on. It's going to be a battle to the end. Here at the Kansas Speedway and the KansasSpeedway.com 100, it has been all about Aaron Pierce. He has led all but 2 laps, but Pablo Donoso, the mild-mannered Chilean, driving for Ron Hemmelgarn, now tries to go the inside. He has been challenging for the lead. A big bobble by the Chilean. Donoso's got a problem. You can see some liquid from the overflow getting on that right rear tire. There it is again.
Could be that he is overheating, Jack, as they will spit out water when they're overheating. And again, out of the right side of that race car, a lot of liquid coming out of the 191.
Let's see if we can get an update on Donoso's condition trackside with Brienne Pedigo.
Pablo Donoso's been battling it out with Aaron Pierce for the lead, but apparently he's leaking something on the track. Not sure if they're going to pull him in and inspect it, but we're going to keep our eyes peeled on pit lane.
Well, the fact that there hasn't been a caution exacerbates the problem, because usually you could take the black flag, call Donoso in, see precisely what the issue is. But when you black flag a second-place runner, you better be sure. But our camera angles and close-ups are showing an awful lot of water coming out. Take a look here. On this move, Donoso goes to the inside. The water gets on the right rear of the tire. And Donoso goes for a Mr. Toad's wild ride. As Buddy Baker once said, that boy had a crash. They just forgot to tell him.
It does not look like Donoso wants to come into the pit lane and check that race car out, so he'll continue on.
Do you blame him?
No, I don't blame him, actually, but, you know, when you're spitting water on the racetrack for the safety of the other guys out there, you probably should come in and check that out. But 7 laps to go as Aaron Pierce looking for his second victory here in 2006.
Now, Aaron Pierce, the subject of several opportunities to win races after that first win at Chicagoland, and yet he has not been able to cash in. Engine problems and late race misfortunes have kept him out of victory lane since that big victory. But this is the closest carbon copy to Chicago that Aaron Pierce has been on, and you can see how loose Aaron Pierce is right now. Meanwhile, Bud Kading, not yet time to celebrate his championship, but Brianne Pedigo is with some crew members that might like to.
Guys, I'm here with Matt Draskovic, the crew chief for Bud Kading, who is now the champion. Congratulations.
Well, I really haven't even thought about this as a championship yet. We're still out on the racetrack, and we've got a drop in a cylinder, I think, and it's been a gremlin with us all year, just fighting with the engine, and we got to get to work over the winter, and we'll get this worked out. And next year we knock off about 3 or 4 wins, I hope. I'm tickled to death. This team is battled diversity like I've never seen before, and I'm so proud of Chris Trammell and David Farrow and Matt Hummel. And I'd just like to thank John Harper and the guys at Brown & Miller Race Solutions, and the guys at RCR came over today, Danny Lawrence. I really appreciate it, and good luck to you tomorrow. And I'm getting excited now.
Congratulations. It's great to see. You guys have worked so hard this year, and it's really awesome to see that your hard work and your perseverance has really paid off.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Somebody needs to tell Matt that it's already sewed up. Doesn't have to worry. But then again, the competitive juices are flowing. And right now, I think Bud Kading, with that engine problem, realizes he hasn't got anything for this man, Aaron Pierce. So it looks as if we'll have 2 champions in victory lane, one for the title. And will it be Aaron Pierce or this man as the champion of the Kansas Speedway.com 100? White flag is about to be displayed, and that means one thing. Aaron Pierce is just 1.5 miles away, Rob, from his second USAC Silver Crown Series victory of 2006.
Aaron Pierce has run very good all season long, called the Outlovich and the whole PDM racing team, giving them great cars each and every race. As you said, battled a few things underneath the hood, having trouble throughout the year, but putting it all together here to finish out the season. And Aaron Pierce working turns 3 and 4. Still a little loose on that racetrack.
But running it flat out at 172 miles an hour, he streaks beneath the checkered flag and will be victorious. Donoso will take home the second position with an overheating engine that still lasted long enough to complete the 100 miles. But for Bud Kading, it is his first USAC Silver Crown Championship. And it has been an up and down season for the Team ASE Lone City Special. But win number 1 came back at the Kentucky Motor Speedway, where, let's face it, Rob, he dominated the competition.
Yeah, Kading won 17 seconds over second place as his car owner Jason Leffler there to help celebrate with the team.
And after the victory, we were treated to the first of the Kading trademark donuts, burning up the rubber, and according to Jason Leffler's wife, maybe cooking an engine. But it didn't bother Bud Kading or the Lone City Team ASE team. They were just happy to be in victory lane. Then it was on to the 3/4 mile Richmond International Raceway, where Kading qualified 4th, but he ran a steady race, taking the lead on lap 77 and streaking across the checkered flag in the first position. The victory for Kading increased his point lead over Brian Tyler to 21 points, and 2 pavement wins were then bookended by the finale at Terre Haute. On the dirt, Bud Kading, Rob, got the most sought-after victory of the 2006 season.
At that point, 2 wins on the pavement, 2 wins on the dirt for his career in the USAC Silver Crown Series. 3 wins there after the big one at the action track.
And for Bud Kading, it is a $250,000 championship payday. For a driver, Rob, that was an accidental contender. Didn't intend to run the full series this season.
No, they put a deal together with Joe Devon, owner of DRC Chassis, just before the Copper World Classic at Phoenix. And look at him now, Jack pulling into victory lane, picking up his first Silver Crown Series championship.
We'll talk to Aaron Pierce, the winner, and this man, the champion, next. Tonight's USAC Thunder has been brought to you by Optima Batteries, the ultimate power source. A victorious Bud Kading in the championship, but it's Aaron Pierce that will get the race laurels here in the Kansas Speedway.com 100.
Jay Drake started dead last, finishes in second spot after Pablo Donoso was black flagged for laying water on the racetrack. He comes home in 8th.
And Dave Steele, engine expiring on that car, finishes 12th. Rodney Wiesner, also having engine problems, finishes last. Our Optima Batteries fast lines, well, it came out just as we expected.
Yeah, Kading did what he had to do, finished 6th or better, got the championship with Brian Tyler having some trouble here, and there is the final points. Bud Kading picks up his first Silver Crown Series championship.
Kudos to Aaron Pierce, Wayne Ruderman, Dave Steele, and Josh Wise as well. Wise, in fact, not starting this race after engine woes. Let's go to the winner of the race.
Well, he started from the pole, crossed the finish line first. That's got to feel good, Aaron.
Yeah, the car was on a rail. I mean, there when Pablo got up with us, I was just kind of relaxed and riding and trying to save my stuff, not slide it around. And I could step on the gas and take off at will. I was just trying not to burn my stuff up and make it go consistent the whole race. So,
you and I talked about the track condition a little bit. What did you find out there?
I was pretty much a little bit loose the whole time. It didn't get any worse. It didn't get any better. I think a lot of it was just trying to save my tires and not slide the car around. So thanks to Bounty, Kroger, Bondurant Driving School, Sam Pierce Chevrolet, Tide, Pringles, everybody that helps us out.
Did you get enough donuts out there?
I could have done some more. I think I was almost out of gas.
Aaron Pierce had better be careful. He's stealing some of Bud Kading's moves here with this great burnout. So while Pierce wins the race, Bud Kading wins the championship, and Brianna's caught up with him. Bree?
I'm with the champion, Bud Kading. Bud, wow, that was quite a race.
Yeah, we were pretty bad today. We knew we were going into the day with an ill motor, and we're just going to kind of hang on, see what we could do. And fortunately enough, it made it easy on us. Brian looked like he had some issues there. He had to pit or come in, put him out of the race, and now the championship. So I can't say enough about my whole Leffler BK Racing team, Team ASC, Lone City. Those guys have put everything behind me, all their efforts, all their support, and that's why I'm standing here today. And I can't thank guys from Richard Childress Racing enough for spending their time today while those guys were out in the Busch race. I had a couple of their engineers over trying to help sort out our electrical problems, but looks like we got a little more internal problems. So we'll get things figured out, and we'll be back next year.
Well, we'll look forward to that. What have been some other of the highlights for you this season?
Well, today definitely wasn't one of them other than coming out of here with the championship. It's kind of bittersweet. I'm kind of disappointed in our run, but at the same time, I'm pretty excited about winning this championship and getting it over with. Those countless nights with no sleep, not because of other things, because I couldn't sleep. They really paid off here at the end of this whole thing, but, winning our first pavement race in Kentucky by such a margin with such a dominating win that was, that would probably be the biggest highlight of our year. We've had a real dominant car all year, been in the top 3 or 4 cars most of the races. We just having engine problems that otherwise we would have had this interview a couple of races ago, I feel.
Well, your hard work definitely paid off. Congratulations, Bud.
Thank you very much.
So, Rob, it was a journey that started out back in January at the Copper World Classic. A lot of people were wondering what the new style Silver Crown cars would do on super speedways. Bud Kading, the accidental champion, started the season with no intentions of running for the entire championship year, but now he tastes the laurels of victory and shares the champagne with his crew.
It's really neat to see Bud Kading pick up his National Series championship, former Western States Sprint Car champion. He's got a lot of championships in the Kading family, and it's really neat to see him get the Silver Crown Series, really in its debut year with this new car here in 2006.
And the lion's share of a $250,000 point fund will be going back to Campbell, California with Bud Kading. For Rob Klepper, Brianne Pedigo, I'm Jack Arute. We'll see you next year here on USAC Thunder.